When they dive, the fluke slowly arches until it disappears underwater. This gave origin to their name, because as they dive, it looks like a humpback. They lift their heads and their shoulders out of the water and look turning in 180 degrees, as if trying to see what's up there. Then slowly, they sink back in. Among couples, one will be floating as another one comes out to rub his head gently against the other, as if they were caressing one another. Loners surface on their side or with their bellies up, hitting the water with their flukes and flippers. They elongate their fins against the sky and crash them against the water in great commotion. Scientists think that these tail flapping are part of the courtship ritual, yet we have seen these behaviors after that period and even when they are completely alone. Whales whack their head against the surface in what could be a restrained jump or breach. The humpback is probably the highest jumper of the baleen whales. It is capable of launching its 40-ton body out of the water. All through the season, whales jump. After a few weeks, the calves start jumping too. They launch 2/3 of their body and sometimes all of it out of the water, turning in the air and falling on their backs or their side. Jumping can go along for several hours, during which they don't seem to tire. Humpbacks are the most vocal whales of all. For hours and days they cast cries, moans, while others articulate low and long sounds, repeating diverse sequences and melodies. It is assumed that their singing plays a role in courtship, yet observers claim to have heard them in absence of others, concluding that they, like us, like to sing for the pleasure of it. It's an active predator that hunts for krill and small fish, swallowing them directly or stunning them with blows from their flippers. An extremely original fishing technique is when in collaboration, they swim around the fish, blowing air, forming a net of bubbles. The fish remain enclosed, and from underneath, the whales devour them. This net of bubbles can reach up to 100 feet. The collaboration of several individuals is needed to use this technique. One more example of their coordinated minds and their capacity to work as a team. In their yearly migration, they average 25,000 kilometers. Population has risen from 20,000 in 1966 to over 40,000 in our days. They swim close to the boats with no fear. This has made them the perfect target for a new kind of whalers, whale watchers. In the last 3 decades, whale watching has become very popular. Like other cetaceans, mothers are very protective over their calves. They swim between them and the boats or keep still in the presence of ships. Boat captains have not yet fully understood their new role. They compete for the first row and tire the calves and their mothers needlessly. As we stated before, when the babies are born, as they attain swimming skills and strength, mothers have to hold still in the surface longer. Sightings, although less spectacular, are more frequent, and it is then that the boats approach them too much and too quickly. Laws rarely reflect the reality of the behavior of whales. The observations by experts are made in a different context in daily life, but in the case of whale watching, it is the whales that break the rules and approach the boats. In these images, we'll show a humpback acting in a very particular way. She rubs against the boat trying to see the people in it. Even if this conduct is very common with the Baja California greys, with their cousins, the humpbacks in our bay, it's a rarity. Contrary to the attention greys get, there has been little interest and approach to these other whales by Mexican scholars and officials. They weigh an average of 40 tons. Slightly bigger than the males, females reach up to 18 meters. The largest ever found measured 60 feet. Her flippers were 18. Since 1967, they have been a protected species. Today, it's estimated that there are little more than 40,000 individuals. Its large upper body, the fifth in size among the baleen whales, it's mostly black or dark gray, while their lower body is normally white or light gray with spots. Small protuberances formed by parasites cover their head and their inferior jaw. Its flukes depict undulations, diverse designs and spots. This differ from each individual, serving as marks to identify them.